All right, so this is page 11. Page 11 is going to ask you to work with percents again, as usual. So express as a percent. So we're going to be changing, as you can see, there are decimals, ratios, fractions, all of these things, and we're going to change them into percents. So all of the things that we've learned already. It's almost like a little recap. Let's start with number 1. 0.4 or 4/10 changed to a percent times by 100, 40%. Because that's, of course, an empty spot, which needs a 0. Number 2. Number 2 is a ratio. 1:4. So ratios, remember, are like identical to fractions. So I need to find one that has a ratio of 100 to find the percent. So 4 times something is 100, that's 25, remember from your math facts. And 1 times 25 is 25, which is 25%. And so that's how you do fractions, decimals, the rest are fractions and decimals. So now you remember, hopefully, how to do this. All right. And we're good. Let's take a look at number 10. Number 10, express as a percent, round each answer to the nearest tenth if necessary. So that means we're going to be doing some rounding. So don't forget the rounding rule, 5 or higher, round up. So number 10, I have 1/3. And I need to express it as a percent. Now we just did this on the last page, but let's do it again. So 1 divided by 3 is a repeating decimal of 3 forever. So 0.333. So I divided, right? Why did I divide? Because I can't change 3 into a denominator of 100 evenly. So I have to use division if 3 isn't part of my 100 math facts, which I hope you have memorized by now. All right, and then we have to times by 100 to change it to a percent. Move that decimal 2 spots over. 33.3%, and it's rounded already. Sorry, because let's say if those 3's keep going, 3 is not big enough to change my 3. So my 3 stays the same. So that's number 10. And let's talk about number 16. So it says, write as a decimal. 18% as a decimal. Now remember, when you're changing percents to decimals, you're dividing by 100. So you add your decimal in, and you move 2 spots over. 0.18 or 1800ths. And let's take a look at number 22. Number 22, this is where you're going to compare them. So what you need to do is you need to make sure they're the same unit, and then you can make a comparison. So take a look at number 22. I have 0 and 100th, and I'm comparing it to 10%. So let's change, it doesn't really matter what you're going to do. I can change them both to decimals, or I can change them both to percents. Either way is fine. I'm going to change this one to a percent. So to change a decimal to a percent, I times by 100. So I have 1%. Now, 1% and 10%, now I can compare them because they're the same unit. 1% is obviously smaller than 10%, and so the mouth eats the bigger one. Don't forget that part. So for 22 to 27, that's what you're doing. You need to compare the two values that you're given, but in order to compare them, you have to change them to the same unit. So you've got a decimal and a percent. You need to make them both percents, or you could make them both decimals. But they have to be the same unit in order for you to figure out which one's bigger, or whether they're the same. And that is page 11. So if you have questions about page 11, don't forget to get in touch.